Welcome to over 3 hours of completely useless but absolutely fascinating Red Dead Redemption 2 facts. These are the details you never needed to know, the trivia that won't help you beat the game, and the obscure information that will make you appreciate just how obsessively detailed Rockstar was when creating this masterpiece. Sit back, relax, and prepare to fill your brain with knowledge that serves no practical purpose whatsoever. Before we start, please comment below where you're listening from. Let's start with the bodily functions, because Rockstar apparently thought those were important. Arthur Morgan's horse will defecate in real time. Follow your horse around long enough, and you'll witness this natural event approximately every 15 to 20 minutes of gameplay. The droppings stay on the ground until the game despawns them. NPCs will comment on stepping in horse manure. Your horse can actually slip on it if you're not careful. Someone at Rockstar programmed horse poop physics, and honestly, that tells you everything you need to know about this game's priorities. Arthur himself has a complete digestive system, at least as far as the game is concerned. His weight fluctuates on a scale from underweight to overweight based on eating habits. An underweight Arthur takes more damage but has more stamina. An overweight Arthur is tankier but gets winded faster. The visual difference is striking. Overweight Arthur has a rounder face and visible belly, while underweight Arthur looks gaunt with prominent cheekbones. Most players never notice because they are too busy shooting things to monitor Arthur's caloric intake. If you don't bathe Arthur for extended periods, NPCs start commenting on his smell. They'll wave their hands in front of their noses, step away, make disgusted remarks. Shopkeepers become less friendly. Some people refuse to talk to him entirely. You can see dirt accumulating on his skin and clothes over time. The deluxe bath option at hotels includes a woman who helps wash you while making conversation, which is historically accurate for the period and also deeply awkward to experience with anyone else in the room. Now let's talk about hair, because Rockstar simulated that too. Arthur's hair and beard grow in real time across 10 stages each. It takes roughly 2 in-game weeks to go from clean-shaven to maximum beard length. Hair tonics accelerate growth. Different parts of the beard grow at slightly different rates, creating a natural, uneven look during intermediate stages. His chin grows faster than his cheeks. His mustache grows faster than his sideburns. Someone studies beard growth patterns to make this accurate. The barber can cut your hair shorter, but can't make it longer than its current growth. Want a specific long hairstyle? You'll need to wait for the hair to grow, then get it styled. It's the only game where you might find yourself chugging hair tonic and sleeping repeatedly just to grow a mustache faster. Let's move to the horses, because Rockstar clearly spent years on them. Every breed has a distinct personality beyond stats. The Arabian is fast but skittish, prone to bucking you off at the first sign of danger. The Shire is slow but brave, standing its ground when predators approach. The Mustang is wild at heart, harder to bond with but fiercely loyal once you do. These aren't flavor text descriptions, they're behavioral patterns that affect every interaction. Horses remember trauma, not vaguely, but specifically. A horse attacked by wolves in a particular area becomes nervous when you return there, even months later. A horse that fell off a cliff hesitates near ledges. A horse bitten by a snake avoids tall grass. The game tracks individual traumatic experiences for each horse and adjusts behavior accordingly. This isn't documented anywhere. Players discovered it by paying attention. Horse sounds are individualized. Each horse has slightly different vocalizations, different pitches and timbres to their whinnies and snorts. These sounds change based on emotional state, becoming frantic when scared, relaxed when calm. Spend enough time with one horse and you'll recognize its voice. The grooming actually works. A dirty horse has a visibly dull coat. Mud accumulates realistically, starting at the legs and working up. The brushing animation removes dirt in the pattern you brush. Players have tested this by deliberately dirtying specific parts and brushing only those areas. When your horse dies, it stays dead. No respawns. The horse you've bonded with, customized, named and ridden across the entire map is gone. Players have reported genuine grief at losing horses they'd spent dozens of hours with. The permadeath creates stakes most games avoid. Each horse breed has multiple coat variations, some common, some rare. Wild horses spawn with random coats, meaning finding a specific rare combination requires patience and luck. Players have spent dozens of hours searching for particular coats that provide zero gameplay advantage. They do it because the horse is theirs, and they want it to look right. Now for the ecosystem, because this game has a functioning food chain. Over 200 animal species populate the world, each with unique behaviours, habitats, and daily patterns. Predators hunt prey. You can witness wolves taking down deer, cougars stalking rabbits, eagles swooping to catch fish. Kill a predator mid-hunt, and the prey animal sometimes sticks around, confused about what just happened. Overhunt an area, and the animal population actually decreases before slowly repopulating. The ecosystem responds to your presence. It's a genuine simulation running whether you're watching or not. Vultures track corpses, kill a deer and leave it, return hours later, and vultures will be circling overhead. Wait longer, and they land and start feeding. Scare them off and examine the carcass, and it's been partially eaten. Leave it even longer, and only bones remain. Decomposition happens in real time, with scavengers playing their part. Animals have daily routines based on their biology. Some are diurnal, active during the day. Others are nocturnal. Some are crepuscular, active at dawn and dusk. Weather affects behaviour too. Some animals seek shelter during rain. Others become more active. Knowing these patterns helps with hunting specific species. The tracking system rewards patience. Find animal tracks, and you can follow them to locate the animal. Tracks show direction and recency. Experienced trackers can identify species from tracks alone. It adds realism that many players appreciate. Animal quality comes in 3 levels: poor, good, and perfect. Quality depends on the animal's health when you find it and how you kill it. Using the wrong weapon damages the pelt. A perfect pelt requires finding a healthy animal and killing it with the appropriate weapon in a single clean shot. Small animals need small game arrows, large animals need rifles. Using the wrong weapon guarantees lower quality. Legendary animals are unique, powerful versions of regular species scattered throughout the world. Each has a specific location and requires special tactics. They're larger, more aggressive, harder to kill. The pelts craft into special items at the trapper. There are also legendary fish requiring special lures and techniques. Let's talk about the weather because it's not just cosmetic. Multiple types of rain exist, from light drizzle to heavy downpour. Snow accumulates realistically, deeper in sheltered areas, shallower where wind has blown it away. Mud forms after rain and affects movement speed. Temperature varies by region and time of day. Arthur comments on being too hot or too cold. You can see Arthur's breath in cold weather, and the density changes based on temperature. Mildly cold produces faint mist. Extremely cold produces thick clouds with every exhale. This extends to horses and NPCs. Even the steam rising from horse droppings in cold weather is accurately rendered. Someone thought about that. Lightning during thunderstorms isn't just visual. It can strike objects in the world, including trees, buildings, and Arthur himself. Getting struck is rare but possible, and it kills instantly. Some players have captured footage. The strikes are impressively realistic. Fire propagates based on conditions. Start a fire, and it spreads to nearby flammable objects. Dry grass catches easily and spreads quickly. Wet grass is harder to ignite. Buildings can burn down. NPCs react to fires, either fleeing or trying to extinguish them. The fire department in St. Denis responds to city fires. The moon phases are accurately simulated over several in-game weeks. Light at night varies based on phase. Full moon provides significant illumination. New moon results in very dark nights. Certain events only occur during specific phases. Wolves hunt in larger packs during full moons, a nod to werewolf mythology. The stars are astronomically accurate for 1899. Dedicated players have verified that constellations are correct and stars move appropriately as night progresses. This serves no gameplay purpose, but demonstrates commitment to authenticity. Now let's discuss the NPCs, because they're living complete lives. Every NPC has a daily routine. They wake up, eat breakfast, go to work, take lunch breaks, finish work, visit the saloon or go home, and sleep. Follow someone for an entire in-game day, and you'll see their complete schedule. The blacksmith works his forge. The shopkeeper tends his store. The drunk stumbles between saloon and home, but it goes deeper. NPCs have weekly routines too. The drunk is drunker on weekends. The shopkeeper is grumpier on Mondays. The preacher gives different sermons each Sunday. Some go to church on Sundays. Some visit the saloon more on Saturdays. These patterns create a sense of time passing beyond the day-night cycle. NPCs remember you across the entire game. Help someone early in the story and they might help you hours later. Wrong someone and they hold the grudge indefinitely. The reputation system tracks your standing in each region separately. You can be beloved in one town and hated in another. Word spreads, but slowly, the way it would without instant communication. Greet someone in the morning and they say good morning. Greet them at night and they say good evening. Greet them while covered in mud and they comment on your appearance. Greet them while carrying a weapon and they react with concern. Greet them after committing a crime nearby and they're suspicious. The dialogue system checks dozens of variables to select appropriate responses. The antagonize option provides creative insults based on NPC characteristics. Arthur comments on their appearance, profession, or behaviour. Some insults are genuinely funny. It's entirely optional but provides entertainment for players who enjoy causing chaos. Shopkeepers have unique personalities. The general store owner in Valentine differs from the one in Rhodes. They comment on purchases, make small talk, react to your behaviour. Rob a store, and the shopkeeper is hostile when you return. Be a regular customer, and they're friendlier, might offer discounts. There's a man in St. Denis writing a novel. Check on him periodically and you can track his progress. By the epilogue, he's finished, and you can find his book for sale. There's a woman who practices violin, getting noticeably better over the course of the story. There's a drunk who tells increasingly elaborate lies about his past, each story more ridiculous than the last, though some contain hidden truths about the game's lore. These aren't quest givers, they're just people living in the background of your story. let's shift to the genuinely weird stuff. The mysteries, the Easter eggs, the things that make you wonder what developers were thinking at 3 a.m. The ghost train appears on a specific stretch of track near Bluewater Marsh around 3 a.m. game time. A spectral locomotive materializes out of thin air, passengers visible through windows, completely silent. It passes through like it's not even there, because it isn't. Leaves no tracks, makes no sound, vanishes into fog. Players have tried shooting it, standing on the tracks, throwing dynamite. Nothing affects it. It's just there, a reminder that this world has layers you're not meant to fully understand. The Vampire of St. Denis requires elaborate setup. 5 cryptic messages are scrawled on walls throughout the city, each a piece of a puzzle. Find all 5, and a marker appears pointing to a dark alley. Show up at night, and you'll meet a pale figure with an Eastern European accent who attacks on sight. Kill him, and you get an ornate dagger unlike any other weapon. The whole encounter feels like it belongs in a different game, which is probably the point. UFO sightings are even stranger. A cabin in the Grizzlies contains a note describing a cult that witnessed something in the sky. Follow the instructions, show up at the right time, and you'll see it. A glowing craft hovering above the mountains before shooting into darkness. A second UFO appears at Mount Shan under specific conditions. Rockstar never acknowledged these officially. They're just there, waiting for players curious enough to look up. The strange man deserves his own discussion. Players of the first Red Dead Redemption remember him, a mysterious figure who seemed to know everything about John Marston, who couldn't be killed, who spoke in riddles about death and judgment. He's not in Red Dead Redemption 2, but his presence is. There's a cabin in the swamps with a painting on an easel. Visit multiple times throughout the game and the painting changes. First blank, then an outline, then features. By the end, it's a complete portrait of the strange man. Look in the mirror in that cabin, and for a split second you might see him standing behind you. The game never explains who he is, it never will. The serial killer questline is genuinely disturbing. You find the first victim under a bridge, mutilated and posed with a piece of a map pinned to the body. 2 more victims are scattered across the world, each with another piece. Assemble the complete map, and it leads to a basement where the killer waits. The crime scenes wouldn't be out of place in a horror game. It's Rockstar showing they can do more than shootouts and heists. There's a cabin in Roanoke Ridge where scratching sounds come from the walls at night. Investigation reveals nothing. The sounds continue. Players theorize it's a reference to Poe's The Telltale Heart, given the region's name references the Lost Roanoke colony. The game never confirms or denies. There's a spot in the swamps where, standing perfectly still at night, you can hear a woman singing in the distance. Follow the sound and it leads nowhere. Move too quickly and it stops. No one has found the source. There's a grave for a character named Margaret that, visited at midnight during a full moon, produces faint crying sounds. The grave belongs to a character from a stranger mission. The crying is her ghost mourning her own death. There's a tree in the heartland struck by lightning so many times it's completely blackened and dead. Wait during a thunderstorm and you can watch it get struck again. The probability of lightning hitting this specific tree is significantly higher than anywhere else. No one knows why. There's a giant skeleton in a cave, bones too large for any known animal. Players have measured it, compared it to paleontological finds, debated whether it's meant to be a dinosaur or something else. The game offers no explanation. There's a frozen settler in the mountains, preserved by cold, clutching a letter describing a doomed expedition. The letter is historically plausible, matching real accounts of frontier disasters. There's a crashed airship in the wilderness, decades ahead of its time technologically. The wreckage tells a story of ambition and failure, someone who tried to fly before the world was ready. There's a robot in a remote location, creation of an inventor NPC from a stranger mission. Finding the robot without completing the mission first creates different interaction than finding it after. The game tracks the order of your discoveries. There's a donkey woman in a travelling circus, a half-human, half-donkey creature. Not a costume or trick. The game presents her as a genuine anomaly, a freak of nature in a world that otherwise follows natural laws. Her existence raises questions the game never answers. Each discovery exists in isolation, without quest markers or mission prompts. They're rewards for exploration, for curiosity, for players who look at the map and wonder what's in that empty space. Now let's talk about the physics, because they're doing more than you realise. Shoot a bottle, and it shatters differently depending on where the bullet hits and what caliber you're using. Shoot a clock, and it stops at the exact time of impact, frozen for the rest of your playthrough. Shoot a windmill blade, and the whole mechanism wobbles and eventually stops. Shoot a weather vane, and it spins from impact before settling to point in the actual wind direction. Shoot a church bell during a service, and the congregation react with shock while the priest delivers an impromptu sermon about violence. Bodies ragdoll convincingly when shot, with different reactions based on weapon and shot placement. You can shoot weapons out of enemies' hands. The weapon flies in a realistic arc based on bullet impact. The enemy reacts with surprise and either retrieves their weapon, pulls a backup, or surrenders. Some clutch their hand in pain if you shot close to their fingers. Bullet drop and travel time matter at extreme distances. Sniping from great distance requires aiming above your target to compensate for gravity. The bullet takes time to travel, so moving targets require leading your shot. Most players never engage at distances where this matters, but it's there for those who want impossible shots. Sound travels realistically. Gunshots echo differently in canyons than forests than open plains. The acoustic properties of each environment are modelled based on materials present. Wooden buildings sound different inside than stone buildings. Caves have their own reverb. Fire a gun in St. Denis, and sound bounces off brick and cobblestone. Fire the same gun in the Heartlands, and it rolls across grass and fades into distance. Most players process this subconsciously, never realising why different areas feel different. Let's consolidate something important. The game tracks everything, not just obvious stuff like kills and money earned. Everything. How many steps Arthur has taken? Over 1 million in a typical playthrough. How many times you've petted each individual dog? How many bullets you've fired from each specific gun? How many times you've been kicked by a horse, bitten by a snake, thrown from a wagon, struck by lightning? The exact number of doors you've opened. The exact number of times Arthur has said, "Okay." None of this is displayed anywhere in the game. It all exists in the save file, a massive database of your entire journey through the Old West. Data miners have found statistics that seem to serve no purpose, tracking behaviours with no gameplay impact. Someone at Rockstar decided that if something could be counted, it should be counted. The game tracks how many times you've been bucked off by each individual horse. Horses with high buck counts are labelled difficult in the stable menu, even if their official temperament rating is calm. The game tracks the exact number of bullets fired from each individual gun. This affects wear and degradation. A gun that's fired thousands of rounds degrades faster than a newer gun, even with the same cleaning schedule. The game tracks how many times you've fallen asleep in each bed in the game world. Some beds have been slept in thousands of times by dedicated players. Others have never been used. The game tracks how many fish have escaped your line. This "ones that got away" statistic is hidden but exists, and some players have reported seeing it referenced in rare dialogue from fishing-related NPCs. Now let's talk about the weapons, because they're not just damage numbers. Each weapon degrades at its own rate based on use and conditions. A gun fired in rain degrades faster than one fired in dry weather. A gun used constantly degrades faster than one kept in reserve. Degradation affects accuracy, reload speed, and damage. A pristine weapon performs noticeably better than a neglected one. You can see dirt and rust accumulating on neglected weapons. The customization is purely cosmetic but absurdly detailed. Change the metal type, wood type, engravings, varnish. Each option has multiple choices combinable in thousands of ways. Players spend hours creating perfect weapons that perform identically to stock versions but look exactly how they want. Reload animations are weapon-specific and historically accurate. The way Arthur handles a lever-action rifle differs from a bolt-action. The way he loads a revolver differs from a semi-automatic pistol. These animations were motion captured by actors who learned to actually operate these weapons. The Cattleman revolver is based on the Colt single-action army. The in-game version accurately depicts the loading gate mechanism, where you load one round at a time. The reload animation shows Arthur opening the loading gate, ejecting spent casings, inserting fresh rounds. Slower than modern revolvers but historically accurate. The Lancaster repeater is based on the Winchester model 1866, nicknamed the Yellow Boy for its brass receiver. The lever action mechanism is captured accurately. You see Arthur work the lever between shots, ejecting spent casings and chambering fresh rounds. The distinctive brass receiver is faithfully recreated, now for the world itself, because the map is more than terrain. The 29 square miles aren't empty space padded with nothing. Every region has its own ecosystem, weather patterns, human culture. The snowy grizzlies feel completely different from the humid Bayou Endroit, not just visually, but in terms of what lives there, what grows there, how people dress and talk and make their living. Transitions between regions are gradual and natural, no loading screens or obvious boundaries. Snow slowly gives way to pine forests, which give way to deciduous woods, which give way to plains. Temperature changes gradually. Wildlife shifts species by species. It feels like travelling through real landscape rather than moving between themed zones. St. Denis is a technical achievement unto itself. A fully realised city with paved streets, electric lights, a trolley system, hundreds of unique NPCs with individual routines. The architecture is period accurate for a New Orleans-inspired city in 1899. Class divisions are visible in clothing, housing, behaviour of residents in different neighbourhoods. It's the most detailed urban environment Rockstar has ever created, existing as just one part of a much larger world. The trolley actually follows a realistic schedule and route. Study it long enough, and you'll notice it makes the same stops at roughly the same times each day. Players have mapped the entire route and timetable, which serves no purpose except satisfying curiosity. Rivers flow in the correct direction based on elevation. Current affects swimming and boat handling. Water clarity varies by location, mountain streams being clear, swamp water being murky. Fish behavior changes based on water conditions. Rain creates ripples that spread realistically across surfaces. The caves and mines scattered throughout are fully realized environments, not just tunnels with loot at the end. They have their own ecosystems, lighting conditions, acoustic properties. Bats live in caves. Certain plants only grow near cave entrances. The darkness is genuine darkness, requiring a lantern to navigate. Some caves contain secrets that took players years to find. Let's discuss the camp because it's essentially a separate game. The Vanderlyn Gang Camp is a living community with its own dynamics. Over 20 characters live there, each with their own personality, routine, relationships with other gang members. The camp isn't just a place to sleep and resupply, it's a home, and it feels like one. Gang members have conversations whether you're listening or not. Walk through camp at different times and you'll catch different discussions. Arguments, jokes, stories, plans. The dialogue is so extensive that players have spent hours just sitting in camp listening. The mood changes based on story progress and your contributions. Early in the game, there's optimism. People sing, play games, laugh. As things fall apart, the mood darkens. Conversations become tense. The singing stops. The camp reflects the state of the gang. Your contributions matter visibly. Donate money and supplies and the camp improves. Better food appears. Supplies are stocked. Gang members comment on improved conditions. Neglect the camp and it deteriorates. Food becomes scarce. Morale drops. People complain. Each gang member has a request system. They ask for specific items they need or want. Fulfill the request and your relationship improves. They thank you, sometimes give something in return. Remember that you helped. Ignore requests and they notice. Dutch's tent contains books that change throughout the game. Early on, he's reading philosophy and adventure novels. Later, he's reading about revolution and escape. The books reflect his mental state, his shifting priorities, his descent. Most players never notice, but it's there, telling a story through objects. The companion activities add depth to relationships. Go fishing with Javier, and you learn about his past. Go hunting with Charles, and you see his skills. Go drinking with Lenny, and you experience one of the game's most memorable sequences. These activities aren't required, but they make characters feel like friends rather than quest givers. The camp dog Kane appears partway through the game. You can pet him, and he'll follow you around camp. His fate later in the story is one of the game's smaller tragedies, hitting harder because you've spent time with him. Now let's talk about the things that happen when you're not looking. The world simulates whether you're present or not. Animals hunt and are hunted. NPCs go about their routines. Weather systems move across the map. Time passes. Fast travel from one side of the map to the other, and the game calculates what would have happened during that time and updates the world accordingly. Carcasses decompose on a realistic timeline whether you're watching or not. Return to a kill site days later, and you'll find evidence of what happened in your absence. Fires spread and burn out. Start a fire and leave, and the game continues simulating its spread. Return later, and you might find a burned out area where there was once forest. NPCs can die permanently from causes unrelated to you. A random encounter might result in an NPC's death whether you intervene or not. That NPC is then gone from the world. Their absence affects other NPCs who knew them. The world changes in ways you might never notice. Let's cover the historical accuracy because someone did their homework. The year is 1899, and the game captures that specific moment remarkably. The frontier is closing. The railroad has connected the coasts. Cities are growing. The old ways are dying. This isn't just setting, it's theme. The gang represents a way of life that history is leaving behind. The newspapers contain over 300 unique articles covering everything from local gossip to international affairs. The Philippine-American War is mentioned. The Dreyfus Affair in France gets coverage. Women's suffrage, labour disputes, technological innovations, all reported with the breathless prose style of 1890s journalism. Writers researched actual newspapers from the era to get the tone right. You could spend hours reading the news and learning real history filtered through fictional lens. The general stores sell products that actually existed in 1899. Canned goods, patent medicines, sundries are based on real brands from the era. Prices are roughly accurate for the time period. Store layouts reflect how general stores were actually organised in the late 1800s. The suffragettes in St Denis advocate for positions actually being debated in 1899. The game is set just over 2 decades before women gain the right to vote nationally. Their presence isn't commentary, it's history. The architecture in St Denis is modelled after New Orleans in the late 1800s. Wrought iron balconies, French Quarter-style buildings, mix of cultures and languages. Players from New Orleans have noted the accuracy of specific architectural details. The trains run on schedules reflecting actual railroad operations of the era. Routes make geographic sense. Locomotives are period-appropriate models. Sound design was created using recordings of actual preserved steam engines. The weapons are historically accurate for 1899, with a few deliberate anachronisms for gameplay purposes. Reload animations reflect how each weapon was actually operated. Degradation patterns match how these weapons would have worn with use. The Wounded Knee Massacre happened 9 years before the game begins, and its shadow hangs over every interaction with Native American characters. The game doesn't lecture about this history, but it doesn't ignore it either. The Wapiti Reservation, the character of Rain's Fall, the missions involving the army, all acknowledge what was done without exploiting it. The technological changes of the period are visible everywhere. Electric lights in St Denis, automobiles beginning to appear, telephones in some buildings, the camera as new technology. The game shows a world in transition, caught between old century and new. The economic realities are accurate. Prices in stores reflect actual 1899 values. Wages mentioned in dialogue are period appropriate. Class divisions visible in clothing and housing match historical records. Someone researched what things cost and what people earned and made sure the numbers made sense. Now for the poker players, because they have tells. Real tells, consistent for each character. One scratches his nose when bluffing. Another looks away from his cards when he has a good hand. A third taps his fingers when about to fold. These aren't random animations. They're deliberate patterns that skilled players can learn to read. You can actually get better at poker in this game by studying your opponents, just like in real life. The poker AI is sophisticated enough to provide genuine challenge. AI opponents have different playing styles, some aggressive, some conservative, some bluff frequently. Experienced poker players can read tells and predict opponent behaviour. Standard Texas Hold'em rules apply, so real poker knowledge works. 5-finger fillet is particularly tense. You stab a knife between your fingers as quickly as possible. The game gets faster and more complex as you progress. Making a mistake results in Arthur stabbing his own hand, complete with painful animation and sound effect. Simple, but addictive. Dominoes is more relaxed, popular in southern regions. Rules are straightforward, but strategy can be complex. AI opponents vary in skill level. Good way to pass time as earn a little money. The theatre in Zendene offers fully produced performances with unique content. Comedy acts, magic shows, musical performances. Shows change over time, providing new entertainment on return visits. Completely optional, but adds to the game's sense of place. Let's talk about the wanted system because it's more sophisticated than it appears. Witnesses don't just report crimes, they report what they saw. Commit a crime while wearing distinctive clothing and the description mentions it. Commit a crime with a specific weapon and the report notes it. Change your appearance afterward and the description becomes less accurate. The game simulates eyewitness testimony with all its limitations. The wanted posters actually show your face. Commit a crime with a full beard and the sketch shows a bearded man. Shave afterward and the poster becomes less accurate. Change clothes and witnesses has a harder time identifying you. The game tracks your appearance at the moment of the crime and uses it against you. This is why some players maintain a crime outfit that looks nothing like their regular appearance. Law response varies by region. In civilized areas like St. Denis, law responds quickly with numerous officers. In remote areas, response is slower and weaker. In some lawless areas, there's no law enforcement at all. The game simulates the uneven reach of civilization in the Old West. Bounties persist until paid off at a post office. High bounties attract bounty hunters who track you down. The bounty system creates long-term consequences for criminal behavior. You can surrender by holstering your weapon and approaching with hands up. Surrendering results in jail time and loss of bounty money, sometimes preferable to fighting when outnumbered. The surrender mechanic provides a non-violent option. Now let's discuss the honor system, because it affects more than you think. Honor affects NPC reactions and store prices, but it also affects Arthur's internal monologue. High honor Arthur reflects on his mistakes and hopes for redemption. Low honor Arthur is cynical and self-destructive. This shows in journal entries, comments while riding alone, reactions to events. The game tells two different character stories depending on how you play. Arthur's journal improves over time. Early sketches are rough, almost childlike. As the game progresses, they become more detailed and confident. The game simulates Arthur practicing and getting better at drawing. His handwriting changes too, becoming messier when drunk or tired, more flowing when in good spirits. The journal is a window into his mental state that most players flip through without really seeing. Arthur's reflection in mirrors subtly changes based on honor level. High honor Arthur appears slightly brighter, clearer. Low honor Arthur is darker, slightly distorted. Not dramatic enough to notice unless you're looking, but it's there, the game literally showing you who you've become. Multiple endings depend on honor level and certain late game choices. High honor players get a more hopeful ending. Low honor players get a darker conclusion. The endings feel earned based on how you've played, creating a sense that choices mattered. Let's cover the connections to the first game. John Marston is a main character here, but not the John Marston you remember. He's younger, less certain, still figuring out who he is. The game shows experiences that shaped him into the man he becomes in Red Dead Redemption 1. His relationship with Abigail, his bond with Jack, his complicated feelings about Dutch, all context for a story that hasn't happened yet. Locations from the first game appear on the map, but they're different. Armadillo is a thriving town here. By the first game, it's been devastated by plague. Tumbleweed is abandoned in both games, but the reasons are different. McFarlane's ranch exists and you can visit it, though the McFarlanes you meet aren't the ones John will know later. Characters who die in the first game are alive here, and knowing their fates adds weight to every interaction. Bill Williamson is a gang member, not yet the villain he'll become. Javier Escuella is a friend, not yet an enemy. Dutch is a leader, not yet the broken man John will hunt. The dramatic irony is constant and intentional. There's a panoramic map that can be found early in the game. It shows locations that don't seem to exist on the main map. Players spent years trying to decode it, eventually realizing it depicts areas from the first Red Dead Redemption that aren't accessible in this game. A teaser, a connection to the larger world, hidden in plain sight. Let's talk about the Morse code, because it's real. Telegraph offices throughout the game send actual Morse code that can be decoded. Most messages are generic, but some contain Easter eggs, references to other Rockstar games, jokes that only players who know Morse code will ever discover. Someone on the development team learned Morse code specifically to hide secrets in telegraph sounds. There are references to Grand Theft Auto hidden throughout the world. A book titled Red Dead by Jay Marston appears in GTA 5, and references flow the other direction too. The connections are subtle, never breaking the fourth wall, but present for players who look. The Epsilon program, a cult from GTA 5, has precursors in Red Dead Redemption 2. Certain dialogue and documents hint at beliefs that will later become Epsilon teachings. The cult apparently has roots going back over a century. Now for the things that exist purely because someone thought they should. You can skip stones on calm water. The number of skips depends on angle and force. Maximum anyone has recorded is 7. You can shoot a beehive and lead angry bees toward an enemy camp. They'll attack whoever's closest. You can shoot a bird out of the sky, watch it land in water, and see fish come to investigate. If the bird is small enough, a large fish might eat it. You can find a rock that, when shot, makes a unique ringing sound unlike any other rock in the game. Players have speculated about metal ore. It's just a sound effect Easter egg. You can find a rock formation that, viewed from above, spells out RDR2 in natural-looking stone arrangements. You can find a tree with 2 initials carved inside a heart. The initials match characters from a Stranger mission. Finding it before completing the mission adds unique dialogue. You can find a grave for a dog. The headstone reads best friend with a carved bone. Visiting triggers a unique musical cue. You can find a cabin with a collection of pressed flowers, each one a species that grows in the game, labelled with their locations. The owner was apparently a botanist who never appears. You can find a cabin with a collection of animal skulls arranged by size. The owner was apparently a naturalist who never appears. You can find a memorial plaque in a remote location listing horses lost in the line of duty during development. Not real horses. Virtual horses killed during testing. Someone thought they deserved recognition. The hermit woman in the far northwest will shoot at you on sight. Survive long enough to find her diary, and you'll learn she's been alone for decades after her family was killed. Return multiple times and she eventually stops shooting. She never becomes friendly, but she tolerates your presence. One of the few relationships in the game that develops entirely through persistence. Let's discuss the sound design, because it deserves more attention. The ambient audio changes based on over a dozen variables: time of day, weather, region, nearby wildlife, nearby human activity, recent events. Stand in the same spot at different times, and you'll hear different soundscapes. The audio team recorded thousands of individual sounds and built systems to combine them dynamically. Footsteps change based on surface, speed, and what Arthur is wearing. Boots on wood sound different from boots on stone, which sound different from boots on grass. Running sounds different from walking. Worn boots sound different from new boots. The variations are subtle but constant. The music is dynamic in ways that go beyond combat music and exploration music. Intensity builds gradually as danger approaches. Tone shifts based on honor level. Certain locations have unique musical themes that blend with the general soundtrack. Transitions are seamless, creating a score that feels composed for your specific playthrough. Voice lines are recorded with multiple intensities. Arthur doesn't just have one way of saying hey. He has calm versions, urgent versions, angry versions, tired versions. The game selects appropriate intensity based on context. It's why conversations feel natural rather than robotic. The wildlife sounds are recorded from real animals and placed accurately in the world. Hear a specific bird call, and that species is nearby. Hear a wolf howl, and wolves are in the area. Audio provides genuine gameplay information while creating atmosphere. The game has over 500,000 lines of dialogue, main story dialogue, side mission dialogue, random encounter dialogue, NPC ambient dialogue, Arthur's contextual comments. Arthur alone has thousands of unique lines responding to different situations. He comments on weather, scenery, his horse, his health, his hunger, and countless other things. Several licensed songs appear at key moments. That's the Way It Is, by Daniel Lanois, plays during a pivotal late-game sequence. Unshaken, by D'Angelo, plays during another emotional moment. These songs were specifically chosen and placed to maximize emotional impact. Many players cite these musical moments as highlights. Now let's cover the development, because the making of this game is its own story. Red Dead Redemption 2 took over 8 years to develop. More than 1,000 people worked on it. The budget exceeded $500 million. Every fact in this script represents someone's work, someone's decision, someone's attention to a detail that most players will never notice. The voice actors spent years in motion capture suits, performing not just dialogue but full scenes with physical movement. Roger Clark, who plays Arthur, recorded for over 5 years. The main cast developed genuine relationships during that time, which shows in the chemistry between characters. The writers produced a script longer than most novels. The 500,000 lines of dialogue weren't written by one person, but by a team working for years, coordinating to ensure consistency across hundreds of characters and thousands of interactions. The world was built by artists who visited real locations that inspired each region. They photographed plants, studied architecture, recorded ambient sounds. The swamps are based on Louisiana. The mountains are based on Colorado and Wyoming. The plains are based on the Midwest. Each region reflects real places filtered through artistic vision. The animal behaviors were developed with input from wildlife experts. The hunting mechanics were tested by actual hunters. The horse animations were created by studying real horses. The commitment to authenticity extended to consulting people who actually knew these subjects. The sound team recorded for years, capturing everything from period-accurate gunshots to specific bird calls to the sound of different types of rain on different surfaces. The audio library is massive, and most of it exists to create subtle variations that players process subconsciously. The testing process found bugs that became features. Some emergent behaviours, interactions between systems that designers didn't anticipate, were kept because they made the world feel more alive. The bees attacking enemies, the fish eating birds, the horses remembering trauma. Some of these might have started as bugs that someone decided to keep. The game sold over 50 million copies. It won countless awards. It's considered one of the greatest games ever made. But the numbers don't capture what makes it special. What makes it special is the accumulation of details, the sense that every corner of this world was considered, that nothing was left to default settings or placeholder assets. The credit sequence is over 30 minutes long, reflecting the massive team. Watching the full credits provides appreciation for the scale of production. The file size exceeds 100 gigabytes, one of the largest games ever released. That space is filled with high-resolution textures, detailed models, and an enormous audio library. The game runs without loading screens once you're in the world. The entire map streams seamlessly as you explore. The technical achievement of maintaining this on console hardware from 2018 is remarkable. Photo mode was added after launch because players demanded it. The mode is sophisticated enough that some players use it exclusively, treating the game as a photography simulator rather than an action game. Mods on PC have extended the game in directions Rockstar never intended. New missions, new characters, new mechanics, all created by players who loved the game enough to add to it. The speedrunning community has embraced the game despite its length. Watching someone complete a 60-hour game in under 15 hours reveals mechanics and shortcuts that normal players never discover. Fan communities remain active years after release. Theories about the strange man, discoveries of new details, debates about story interpretations, all of it continues. The game has become a living thing sustained by the people who play it. Easter eggs continue to be discovered years after release. The game world is so large and detailed that players are still finding hidden secrets. Online communities share discoveries and theories, keeping interest alive. The depth of content ensures dedicated players always have something new to find. Let's talk about the Stranger missions, because they demonstrate Rockstar's range. The Stranger missions are side quests given by unique NPCs throughout the world. They range from simple tasks to complex multi-part stories. Some are humorous, like helping a man who keeps getting bitten by snakes. Some are tragic, like helping a widow come to terms with loss. Some are mysterious, like investigating a serial killer. Some Stranger missions span the entire game. You meet a character early, help them with something, and encounter them again later. The long-term Stranger missions create a sense of ongoing relationships in the world. The debt collection missions are some of the most morally complex. Strauss, the camp's moneylender, provides targets who owe money. You must track down debtors and collect payment. The collections often involve moral choices about how aggressively to pursue the debt. The debtors are often sympathetic characters in difficult circumstances. Collecting aggressively damages your honour. Showing mercy may mean returning empty-handed. These missions force players to confront the ethics of the gang's activities. The bounty hunting activity lets you capture wanted criminals. Bounty posters are found at sheriff's offices and post offices. Each bounty has a target location and reward amount. You can bring bounties in alive for full reward or dead for partial reward. Capturing alive requires non-lethal tactics, lasso to hogtie, or knock them out with melee. Bringing a bounty in alive provides larger reward and is more honourable, also more challenging than simply killing them. Now for the collectibles, because they tell their own stories. The dinosaur bones are remnants of prehistoric creatures scattered throughout the map. Finding them all and mailing them to a paleontologist rewards you with unique items. The bones are often in remote, hard-to-reach locations, requiring exploration and sometimes puzzle solving. It's a lengthy side quest that appeals to completionists. The rock carvings are mysterious symbols carved into rocks throughout the world. Finding them all reveals a larger pattern and leads to a unique reward. The carvings are often in scenic locations, encouraging players to explore beautiful landscapes. The mystery surrounding them adds intrigue to the search. The dream catchers are Native American artifacts hanging in trees throughout the world. Finding them all provides insight into the game's portrayal of Native American culture and history. They're often in forested areas, requiring players to look up rather than just forward. A subtle collectible that many players miss. The cigarette cards are scattered throughout the world, 144 in total across 12 sets. Each card has unique artwork and text describing various aspects of the Old West, from famous gunslingers to exotic animals. Collecting complete sets and mailing them rewards you with various items. The text on each card is historically accurate and was researched by Rockstar's team. You could actually learn real history from these fictional collectibles. The treasure maps require interpretation. They're not markers on your map, but actual drawings that you need to match to locations in the world. Finding treasure requires observation and deduction, skills the rest of the game doesn't demand. A different kind of challenge, rewarding a different kind of player. Let's cover the epilogue, because it's essentially a second game. The epilogue lets you play as a different character and ties up loose ends from the main story. It's substantial, with its own missions, activities and character development. Some players consider the epilogue essential to the full experience. The game world persists after the main story ends. You can continue exploring, completing side content, hunting for collectibles. Some content is only available in the epilogue, including certain stranger missions and locations. The post-game provides dozens of additional hours for completionists. The epilogue includes ranch management activities. Managing the ranch provides gameplay variety. Ranch management adds simulation elements that feel different from the outlaw life of the main story. The epilogue connects to the first game. Characters and locations from the original appear. The connections reward series fans and provide context for events that happen in Red Dead Redemption 1. Now let's acknowledge what all of this means. These details don't make the game better in any measurable way. They don't affect gameplay, don't unlock achievements, don't provide advantages. They exist because the people who made this game believe that a world worth exploring is a world full of things worth finding. They trusted that players would look, would notice, would care about the difference between a world that's detailed and a world that's alive. Red Dead Redemption 2 is both. It's a game where you can spend 3 hours learning useless facts and still not scratch the surface. Where every rock might hide a secret, every NPC might have a story, every system might connect to another system in ways you'd never expect. It's excessive and obsessive and completely unnecessary, and that's exactly what makes it remarkable. You can play Red Dead Redemption 2 for hundreds of hours and still find new things. Not new missions or new items, but new details. A behaviour you hadn't noticed, a sound you hadn't heard, a connection you hadn't made. The game rewards attention in ways that most games don't even attempt. These facts are useless in the traditional sense. They won't help you beat the game faster or earn more money or unlock achievements. But they're not really useless at all. They're the difference between a game you play and a world you inhabit. They're why, years after release, people are still discovering things, still sharing findings, still marvelling at what Rockstar built. The next time you boot it up, pay attention. Not to the missions or the markers or the objectives, to the small stuff. The way light falls through trees, the sound of your horse's hooves on different surfaces, the conversations happening in the background, the details that exist for no reason except that someone thought they should. That's where the real game is. In the margins, in the spaces between the things you're supposed to notice. In the 3 hours of useless facts that somehow make everything feel more real. The Old West is gone. It was gone before any of us were born. But for a few hours at a time, in a game that tracks how many times you've petted a dog, it feels like you can visit. That's not useless at all. Let's go deeper on the horses, because there's so much more to say. The bonding system tracks more than just a number. Horses remember where they've eaten, sometimes pulling toward those spots when hungry. They remember where they've been hurt, becoming nervous in those areas. They recognize other horses they've interacted with, reacting differently to familiar animals than to strangers. Your horse isn't just a vehicle with stats. It's a simulated animal with a simulated memory. You can name your horse anything you want. The name appears in the game's interface. Naming adds personal connection. Some players spend considerable time choosing the perfect name. Popular names include references to other media, jokes, and meaningful personal choices. The horse's mane and tail can be customized at stables. Different styles from natural to braided to trimmed. Purely cosmetic, but allows personalizing appearance. Some styles are locked until you reach certain bond levels. Horses leave tracks in soft ground that can be followed. The tracks show direction and recency. This detail is used in some missions where you need to track someone. It also adds to overall realism. Horse racing is available at certain locations. Races take place on various courses throughout the world. Winning provides money and sometimes unique rewards. The racing mechanics are simple but provide fun diversion. You can lead your horse by holding the reins and walking. Useful in situations where riding isn't practical, like navigating tight spaces or approaching skittish animals. The leading animation is detailed, showing Arthur holding reins and horse following behind. Horses can swim, but they don't like deep water. Ride into deep water, and your horse becomes nervous and may buck you off. You can calm your horse to prevent this, but it requires attention. Some horses are more comfortable in water than others based on temperament. Feeding your horse affects its health and stamina cores. Different foods provide different benefits. Hay and oats are standard. Carrots and apples are treats that horses particularly enjoy. Wild carrots can be found throughout the world and fed to your horse for free. Brushing removes dirt and improves appearance. A dirty horse has a dull coat, while a clean horse has a shiny coat. Brushing also provides a small bond increase. The animation shows Arthur using a brush on different parts of the horse's body. You can pat your horse to calm it and increase bond. The patting animation varies based on where you're standing relative to the horse. You can pat the neck, flank, or hindquarters. The horse responds with appreciative sounds and body language. The game tracks your horse's mood through visual and audio cues. A happy horse has perked ears and relaxed posture. A nervous horse has flattened ears and tense muscles. An angry horse may try to kick or bite. Reading your horse's mood helps anticipate behaviour. Horse insurance is available through stables. Insured horses can be recovered after death for a fee. The insurance doesn't preserve bond level, so you'll need to rebuild the relationship. It's a safety net for players who don't want to permanently lose their favourite horse. Different horse breeds are found in different regions. Some rare breeds only appear in specific locations. The Arabian horse is considered the best all-around breed. The white Arabian, found near Lake Isabella, is particularly prized. Finding and taming the white Arabian is a rite of passage for many players. Wild horses can be found throughout the world and tamed. The taming process involves approaching carefully, mounting and staying on while the horse tries to buck you off. Successfully taming a wild horse adds it to your stable. Now let's go deeper on the guns. Each gun has unique characteristics beyond damage and fire rate. Different reload animations, sounds, recoil patterns, degradation rates. A well-maintained gun performs better than a dirty one. You can clean guns at camp or in the field using gun oil. The visual difference between clean and dirty is noticeable, with dirty guns showing rust, grime, and wear. The pump-action shotgun features a realistic pumping mechanism. After each shot, Arthur must pump the action to eject the spent shell and chamber a new one. The animation is detailed, showing the pump sliding back and forth. The sound design captures the distinctive chunk of a pump-action shotgun. You can steal horses from NPCs, buy them from stables, or find wild horses and break them. Stolen horses can be sold to the fence. Horse theft is a crime that can create wanted levels. The lasso is a unique tool that lets you capture animals and people. You can hogtie captured targets, preventing escape. Hogtied NPCs can be carried, placed on your horse, or left where they are. The lasso has limited range and requires skill to use effectively. It's essential for certain missions and activities. You can drag hogtied NPCs behind your horse. This is cruel and damages your honour, but it's possible. The NPC takes damage as they're dragged across ground. Eventually they die from trauma, a dark feature most players never discover or use. Bodies can be picked up and carried. You can place them on your horse, drop them in water, or leave them in specific locations. Some missions require moving bodies. The system is robust enough to handle various scenarios. Bodies decompose over time if left in the world. Fresh bodies look normal, but over time they become bloated and discoloured. Eventually they're reduced to skeletons. Decomposition rate depends on environment. Faster in hot, humid areas, slower in cold areas. You can skin animals in the field, and the skinning animations are detailed and graphic. Different animals have different skinning animations based on size and anatomy. Small animals are skinned quickly, while large animals require more time. The animations show Arthur using his knife to remove the pelt, and you can see exposed flesh afterward. The pelts you collect have visible quality indicators. Perfect pelts are clean and undamaged. Good pelts have minor imperfections. Poor pelts are visibly damaged with holes and tears. The visual difference helps assess quality at a glance. You can store pelts on your horse, and they're visible on the horse's back. Multiple pelts stack up, creating a visible pile. Large pelts like bear or elk drape over the horse's hindquarters. The visual representation helps track what you're carrying, without checking inventory. If your horse dies while carrying pelts, the pelts are lost. This creates risk when hunting valuable animals. Some players have lost legendary pelts to unexpected horse deaths, forcing them to hunt the legendary animal again. A harsh but realistic consequence. Now let's talk about the economy in more detail. Prices for goods vary by location. Items are cheaper where they're produced and more expensive where they're scarce. Selling animal pelts in a hunting region gets you less money than selling them in a city. This encourages strategic thinking about where to buy and sell. You can invest in camp upgrades that provide various benefits. The leatherworking tools let you craft better equipment. The chicken coop provides eggs for cooking. The boat lets you access fishing spots. Each upgrade costs money and requires specific materials. Fully upgrading camp is expensive but provides significant quality of life improvements. This satchel determines inventory capacity. The basic satchel has limited space. Upgraded satchels crafted by Pearson at camp provide more capacity. The Legend of the East satchel, requiring all other satchels to be crafted first, provides maximum capacity. Some items spoil over time. Meat becomes rotten if not cooked or sold. Some provisions have limited shelf life. The degradation encourages using items rather than hoarding them. Looting bodies provides money, ammunition, and items. Containers may contain valuables, documents, or supplies. Thorough looting is rewarded with useful resources. The looting animations vary based on what's been looted. Searching a body involves checking pockets. Opening a drawer involves pulling it open. The animations are detailed and add to the game's tactile feel. Safes can be found in some locations and require cracking to open. The safe cracking minigame involves listening for clicks while turning the dial. Successfully cracking a safe provides access to money and valuables inside. It's a skill-based activity that rewards patience and attention. Train robberies are complex operations. You need to stop the train, deal with guards, and loot passengers and cargo. The law responds, creating a tense escape scenario. Successful train robberies provide significant money, but also significant bounties. Stagecoach robberies work similarly but with different dynamics. Stagecoaches are smaller and easier to stop but carry less loot. Some have armed guards who fight back. You can rob passengers, steal the entire stagecoach, or just take the horses. You can steal stagecoaches and sell them to a fence. The fence pays based on condition and type. Stolen stagecoaches can also be used for transportation, a minor criminal activity that provides some income. The fence buys stolen goods and sells special items. Fences are found in specific locations and are essential for criminal players. They buy stolen items, wagons, and horses. They also sell lock breakers, poison, and other illicit items. Home robberies let you break into houses and steal valuables. Some houses are occupied, requiring stealth or violence. Others are empty and can be looted freely. The valuables found vary by location, with wealthy homes containing more valuable items. Now let's explore the random encounters in more depth. Random encounters are events that occur as you travel the world. They include people in need of help, criminals committing crimes, animals attacking travelers, and many other scenarios. There are over 100 unique random encounters distributed throughout the world based on region and context. Some encounters only happen at night. Some only happen in specific weather. Some are so rare that many players complete the entire game without ever seeing them. A specific encounter might require a particular time, weather condition, and location to trigger. The rarity makes discovery feel special. People in need might ask for help with various problems. A man might need a ride to town. A woman might be stranded with a broken wagon. Someone might be bitten by a snake and need medicine. Helping these people increases your honor and sometimes leads to rewards later. Criminals committing crimes present moral choices. You might witness a robbery in progress. You can intervene, ignore it, or even help the criminals. Your choice affects your honor and sometimes has consequences later in the game. Animals attacking travelers create opportunities for heroism. You might find someone being attacked by wolves or a cougar. Saving them increases honor and often results in gratitude and rewards. Strange occurrences add mystery to the world. You might encounter a man who claims to have been abducted by aliens. You might find a woman who speaks in riddles. You might witness something that defies explanation. These encounters add texture and intrigue. Some encounters are multi-part, continuing across multiple meetings. You might help someone once and encounter them again later, with a relationship developing over time. These ongoing encounters create a sense of persistent relationships in the world. The distribution of encounters is carefully designed. Certain types of encounters only occur in certain regions. Urban encounters differ from rural ones. The variety ensures that exploration always feels fresh. Now let's talk about the crafting system in more detail. Arthur can craft items at camp using materials gathered from hunting and foraging. The crafting system includes tonics, ammunition, food, and various other items. Crafting requires specific ingredients gathered from hunting and foraging. The crafting animations are different for different items. Crafting a tonic involves mixing ingredients in a bottle. Crafting ammunition involves handling gunpowder and bullets. Crafting food involves cooking over a fire. Each animation is unique and detailed. The cooking system is surprisingly deep. Different meats provide different benefits. Some restore health, some restore stamina, some restore deadeye. The quality of meat depends on how you killed the animal. A clean kill with a rifle produces better meat than a messy kill with a shotgun. You can cook meat plain, or add herbs and seasonings to create recipes with enhanced effects. Experimenting with different combinations reveals new recipes. The cooking animations show Arthur preparing and cooking the food. Tonics provide temporary boosts to abilities. Health tonics restore health. Stamina tonics restore stamina. Deadeye tonics restore deadeye. Special tonics provide unique effects like increased damage or reduced damage taken. Tonics can be purchased, found, or crafted. The foraging system lets you gather plants. Herbs, berries, and other plants can be found throughout the world. Different plants grow in different regions. Some plants are rare and valuable. Foraging provides ingredients for crafting and cooking. Some plants have medicinal properties that can be used directly. Eating certain herbs restores health or provides other benefits. This provides an alternative to crafted tonics for players who prefer a more natural approach. The compendium tracks every plant species you've discovered. Each entry includes information about uses and locations. Completing the plant section requires finding every species. It's a lengthy task that encourages thorough exploration. Now let's discuss the fishing in more detail. Fishing is a complete mini-game with its own mechanics and strategies. Different fish require different lures and techniques. Some fish are only found in specific bodies of water. Some are only active at certain times of day. The fishing mechanics involve casting, weighting, and reeling. You need to manage tension on the line to avoid breaking it. Different fish fight differently, requiring different techniques to land them. The legendary fish are particularly challenging, requiring patience, skill, and the right equipment. Each legendary fish is found in a specific body of water. Catching them requires special lures. The legendary fish can be mailed to a collector for rewards. You can sell fish to the butcher or cook them at camp. Different fish provide different benefits when cooked. Some restore health, some restore stamina, some restore deadeye. The quality depends on size and species. Fishing is entirely optional, but provides a relaxing alternative to the game's more intense activities. Many players find it meditative, a way to enjoy the game's beautiful environments without the pressure of combat or missions. Now let's explore the photography system. The game includes a photography system that lets you take pictures using an in-game camera. The camera has various settings for exposure, focus, and filters. You can take pictures of anything: landscapes, animals, NPCs, action scenes. There's a stranger mission that involves taking photographs of specific subjects for a nature photographer. The mission encourages exploration and rewards attention to the natural world. The photographs you take are saved in Arthur's satchel and can be viewed at any time. Some players have created extensive photo galleries documenting their journeys through the game. Photo mode was added in a post-launch update, allowing players to pause the game and take screenshots from any angle. The mode includes various filters, frames, and adjustments. Players have used photo mode to create stunning images that showcase the game's visual beauty. Some of these images have gone viral on social media. The photography system was expanded in post-launch updates to include more options and features. The visual quality of the game makes it particularly suited for photography. Some players use it exclusively, treating the game as a photography simulator. Now let's talk about the challenges. The game includes a challenge system with various categories. Hunting. Challenges require killing specific animals in specific ways. Survival challenges require foraging and crafting. Weapon challenges require achieving specific combat feats. Completing challenges provides rewards and contributes to completion percentage. The challenges increase in difficulty as you progress through each category. Early challenges are straightforward. Later challenges require significant skill and effort. Completing all challenges is a major accomplishment that few players achieve. The game tracks completion percentage across numerous categories: story missions, stranger missions, collectibles, challenges, and other activities all contribute. Achieving 100% completion requires thorough engagement with all the game's content. It's a goal that can take over 100 hours to achieve. The game includes achievements and trophies for various accomplishments. Some are story-related and unmissable. Others require specific actions or achievements. Completionists aim to unlock all achievements, which requires extensive play across all game modes. Now let's discuss the Deadeye system in more detail. Deadeye isn't just slow motion, it's a system that evolves throughout the game. Early on, it just slows time. Later, you can manually mark targets. Later still, critical hit points are highlighted. The system grows with Arthur, reflecting his increasing skill. Deadeye drains a meter that must be replenished. Killing enemies, using tonics, and certain foods restore Deadeye. Managing Deadeye is important for difficult combat encounters. The 3 core stats, health, stamina, and Deadeye, each have an inner core and an outer ring. The outer ring represents current status. The inner core represents maximum capacity and regeneration rate. Maintaining healthy cores requires regular eating, sleeping, and care. Being too hot or too cold drains health. Being hungry drains all cores. Being tired reduces core regeneration. Managing these status effects is part of the game's survival mechanics. Extreme temperatures can be fatal if not addressed. In the snowy mountains without warm clothing, Arthur will eventually freeze to death. In the desert without water, he'll overheat. The temperature system encourages appropriate preparation for different environments. Now let's talk about the clothing system in more detail. The clothing system includes layers. You can wear a shirt, a vest, a coat, and a jacket, each as a separate layer. Different combinations provide different levels of warmth. In cold regions, you need warm clothing to avoid health drain. In hot regions, heavy clothing causes Arthur to overheat. The game displays a temperature indicator showing whether your current outfit is appropriate for the climate. This helps you choose appropriate clothing before traveling to different regions. Hats have their own physics and can be knocked off during combat or while riding through dense vegetation. If your hat falls off, you can pick it up and put it back on. If you leave it behind, it will be returned to your horse's inventory. You can also pick up hats from fallen enemies and add them to your collection. Clothing can get torn, stained, and worn over time. Bloodstains appear after combat. Mud stains appear after riding through wet terrain. You can clean clothes by taking a bath or swimming in water. Some stains are permanent and require replacing the clothing item. The game has a wide variety of clothing items. Hats, coats, vests, shirts, pants, boots, and accessories can all be customized. Each category has numerous options in different styles and colours. The variety allows for extensive personalization of Arthur's appearance. Some clothing items are only available through specific activities. Trapper clothing requires hunting specific animals. Some items are rewards for completing challenges. Others are found in specific locations. Collecting all clothing items is a lengthy endeavour. You can customize Arthur's appearance at barbers and general stores. Barbers can cut your hair and trim your beard in various styles. General stores sell clothing in different colours and styles. You can mix and match clothing items to create unique outfits. The game saves your outfits so you can quickly switch between them. The tailor in St. Denis sells high-end clothing not available at general stores. The clothing is more expensive but also more stylish. The tailor's shop is elaborately decorated, reflecting the wealth of St. Denis. Now let's explore the map system and navigation. The game includes a detailed map system. The map shows terrain, roads, towns, and points of interest. You can place markers to guide navigation. The map updates as you explore, revealing new areas and details. It's an essential tool for navigation and planning. The mini-map in the corner shows your immediate surroundings. It displays nearby roads, buildings, and points of interest. Enemy positions appear during combat. You can customize the mini-map's size and opacity and settings. The game includes a compass option that replaces the mini-map. The compass shows only your heading and waypoint direction. It provides less information but is less intrusive. Some players prefer the compass for a more immersive experience. You can disable the HUD entirely for maximum immersion. Without the HUD, you must navigate using landmarks and memory. Combat becomes more challenging without enemy indicators. It's a hardcore option for players who want the most realistic experience. The cinematic camera mode provides dramatic camera angles during travel. The camera automatically frames shots to highlight scenery. It's a passive way to enjoy the game's visuals while travelling long distances. The cinematic mode can be toggled on and off. Fast travel is available but limited. You can fast travel from camp to major locations using the map in Arthur's tent. You cannot fast travel back to camp or between arbitrary locations. This limitation encourages players to experience the world rather than skipping past it. Stagecoaches and trains provide alternative fast travel options. You can pay for a ride to various destinations. The journey is shown through a brief cutscene. These options are available from towns and stations throughout the world. They're useful for reaching distant locations quickly. The train system is fully functional. Trains run on schedules between stations. You can buy tickets and ride as a passenger. You can also rob trains, which is a major criminal activity. The train interiors are detailed, with different car types serving different purposes. Now let's discuss the save system and statistics. The game has a robust save system that tracks virtually everything. Your progress, inventory, horse, camp, relationships, honor, statistics, and countless other factors are all saved. The game autosaves frequently, but you can also create manual saves at any time. Multiple save slots let you maintain different playthroughs. The game tracks hundreds of statistics about your playthrough. How many animals you've killed, how many people you've killed, how many miles you've travelled, how many times you've died, how many missions you've completed, and much more. These statistics are viewable in the progress menu and provide a detailed record of your journey. Some statistics are hidden and only revealed when you achieve certain milestones. For example, the number of times you've been thrown from your horse might not appear until it happens a certain number of times. Dedicated players have discovered many hidden statistics by experimenting with different actions. The statistics screen provides insight into how you've played and can be compared with other players. Total playtime, distance travelled, animals killed, people killed, and many other metrics are recorded. Now let's talk about the accessibility options. The game includes accessibility options for players with disabilities. Subtitles can be customized for size and background. Control schemes can be adjusted. Some visual effects can be reduced or disabled. While not as comprehensive as some games, the accessibility options make the game playable for a wider audience. The game includes multiple difficulty options that affect combat. Lower difficulties make enemies easier to defeat. Higher difficulties increase enemy accuracy and damage. The difficulty can be changed at any time, allowing players to adjust based on their experience. The game includes an auto-aim system that assists with targeting. This system can be adjusted from strong assistance to no assistance. Most players use some level of auto-aim, as the game was designed with it in mind. Disabling auto-aim provides a more challenging experience. Now let's explore the combat system in more detail. The game includes a cover system for combat. You can take cover behind objects to avoid enemy fire. The cover system is context sensitive, automatically detecting suitable cover. Using cover effectively is essential for surviving difficult combat encounters. Enemy AI adapts to your tactics, Russian guns blazing repeatedly, and enemies start preparing for aggressive assaults. Use cover consistently, and they start trying to flank. Pick off enemies from range, and they become more cautious about exposing themselves. The adaptation isn't dramatic, but it's noticeable over time. Enemy types vary in behaviour and capability. Basic enemies are relatively easy to defeat. Armoured enemies require more firepower. Snipers attack from range. Shotgunners rush your position. The variety requires adapting tactics to different threats. Prolonged firefights may attract additional enemies. The law sends more officers as wanted, levels increase. The reinforcement system creates escalating pressure during extended conflicts. Enemy morale affects behaviour. Killing enemies quickly can cause others to flee. Prolonged resistance can embolden enemies. The morale system adds another tactical consideration. Civilians flee from gunfire. They may become witnesses to crimes. Some civilians fight back if threatened. The civilian behaviour adds realism and consequences to combat in populated areas. The melee combat system handles close quarters fighting. You can punch, grapple, and use melee weapons. The system includes blocking and countering. Some situations require or encourage melee combat over shooting. The stealth system allows avoiding detection. You can crouch to reduce visibility and noise. Enemies have detection meters that fill as they become aware of you. Stealth kills are possible with knives and other silent weapons. Stealth is useful for certain missions and activities. Some missions reward or require stealth approaches. Hunting is easier when animals don't detect you. Now let's discuss the story and characters in more depth. The Van der Linde gang is the central focus of the story. The gang includes over 20 members, each with their own personality, backstory, and role. The relationships between gang members evolve over the course of the story. Some relationships strengthen, others deteriorate. The gang feels like a real community with real dynamics. Dutch van der Linde is the charismatic leader of the gang. His philosophy of freedom and distrust of civilization drive the gang's actions. Over the course of the story, Dutch's leadership is tested, and his true nature is revealed. He's one of the most complex antagonists in gaming, a man who believes he's doing right while causing tremendous harm. Hosea Matthews is Dutch's oldest friend and the gang's voice of reason. He often questions Dutch's decisions and advocates for caution. His relationship with Arthur is paternal, and his fate has significant impact on the story. Hosea represents the possibility of a different path, one that the gang ultimately doesn't take. Arthur Morgan's character arc is one of the most acclaimed in gaming. He begins as a loyal enforcer, unquestioningly following Dutch's orders. Over the course of the story, he begins to question his choices and seek redemption. His journey is shaped by player choices, but the overall arc remains powerful regardless of how you play. The game explores themes of loyalty, redemption, and the end of an era. The Old West is dying, and the gang represents a way of life that's becoming obsolete. The encroachment of civilization, represented by railroads, cities, and law enforcement, threatens everything the gang stands for. The story is ultimately a tragedy about people who can't adapt to a changing world. The game's writing is exceptional, with dialogue that feels natural and characters that feel real. The writers spent years developing the story and characters, and it shows. Conversations flow naturally, with characters interrupting each other, making jokes, and expressing genuine emotions. The quality of writing elevates the game above typical video game narratives. The mission design varies from large-scale action sequences to quiet character moments. Some missions involve massive shootouts with dozens of enemies. Others involve simple conversations that develop character relationships. The variety keeps gameplay fresh and allows the story to breathe. The pacing is deliberate, giving players time to absorb the narrative. The game addresses serious themes including racism, sexism, and the treatment of Native Americans. These themes are handled with nuance and respect, showing the ugliness of the era without glorifying it. The game doesn't shy away from the darker aspects of American history while still telling an entertaining story. The portrayal of Native Americans is particularly thoughtful. The game shows the injustices they faced, including forced relocation and broken treaties. Native American characters are portrayed as complex individuals rather than stereotypes. The game acknowledges the tragedy of what happened while avoiding exploitation or sensationalism. The game includes a mission where Arthur helps a Native American tribe. The mission explores themes of cultural destruction and resistance. It's one of the more emotionally powerful sequences and shows Rockstar's willingness to engage with difficult subject matter. The gang's criminal activities are portrayed with moral complexity. Robbing trains and banks provides money for the gang's survival, but it also harms innocent people. The game doesn't glorify crime but shows its consequences. Arthur's growing discomfort with violence is a central part of his character arc. The game explores the concept of loyalty and its limits. Arthur is loyal to Dutch, but that loyalty is tested as Dutch's decisions become increasingly questionable. The tension between loyalty and morality drives much of the story's conflict. The game asks players to consider when loyalty becomes complicity. The relationship between Arthur and John Marston evolves over the course of the story. Initially, Arthur resents John for abandoning the gang. Over time, their relationship improves, and Arthur comes to see John as someone worth protecting. This relationship provides emotional weight to the story's conclusion. The game's length is substantial, with the main story taking approximately 50-60 hours to complete. Including side content, the game can easily occupy over 100 hours. The length allows for deep character development and world building, but has been criticised by some players as excessive. The pacing is deliberate, which some find immersive and others find slow. Now let's cover some more obscure details that reward careful observation. Arthur's boots leave different footprint patterns depending on which boots he's wearing. Over 20 different footprint textures exist in the game. Theoretically, a tracker could identify you by your boot prints. More practically, changing boots after committing a crime makes you slightly harder to identify. The game is simulating forensic evidence in a world that predates forensic science. Arthur's boots leave different depths of footprints based on his current weight. An overweight Arthur leaves deeper prints than an underweight one. This affects tracking, as deeper prints are easier to follow. Mud accumulates on Arthur and his horse separately for different body parts. Your boots get muddy before your pants. Your horse's legs get muddy before its body. The mud dries over time, changing from wet and shiny to dry and cracked. Rain washes away some mud, but not all. Only a proper bath or swimming fully cleans Arthur off. Arthur's aim steadiness is affected by his caffeine intake. Drinking coffee improves aim for a short period, while the effect wears off and can cause slight shakiness as the caffeine leaves his system. The quality of your sleep depends on where you sleep. Sleeping in a comfortable hotel bed provides better rest than sleeping on the ground. The difference affects core regeneration rates. The freshness of cooked food affects its benefits. Freshly cooked food provides better bonuses than food that's been sitting in your satchel for days. The temperature of water affects how long Arthur can swim. Cold water drains stamina faster than warm water. Swimming in mountain streams is more dangerous than swimming in lowland rivers. The humidity affects how quickly fires spread. Fires spread faster in dry conditions and slower in humid conditions. The The humidity varies by region and weather. The barometric pressure affects animal behavior. Animals are more active before storms and less active during high pressure. The pressure changes are tied to the weather system. The soil type affects how quickly tracks fade. Tracks in soft soil last longer than tracks in hard soil. The tracking system accounts for ground composition. The wind direction affects how far sound travels. Sounds travel farther downwind than upwind. The acoustic simulation affects both gameplay and atmosphere. Now, let's talk about some specific NPCs and their stories. Pearson the cook has his own subplot that plays out entirely in camp. His relationship with other gang members, his past as a Navy man, his dreams of opening a store. None of this is required content, it's just there, adding texture to a character who could have been a simple vendor. The women of the camp have their own dynamics that the game doesn't force you to engage with. Karen's drinking problem worsens over time. Mary Beth writes stories and dreams of escape. Tilly has a past that catches up with her. Abigail struggles to raise Jack in an outlaw camp. These stories unfold in the background, visible to players who pay attention. Uncle is more than comic relief. His laziness is a running joke, but there are moments of depth. His past, his health, his genuine affection for the gang despite his uselessness. He's a character who could have been one note but isn't. There's a specific NPC in Valentine who tells a different joke every time you greet him. He has over 30 unique jokes programmed, ranging from genuinely funny to groan-worthy puns. Players have compiled lists of all his jokes, and some are references to real Old West humour. There's a specific NPC who appears to be counting something whenever you see him. Watch him long enough, and you'll realise he's counting the boards in a fence. He has unique dialogue if you interrupt him, expressing frustration at losing count. There's a specific NPC who's always repairing a fence. The fence never gets fully repaired because he works so slowly. Players have watched him for hours, and he makes almost no progress. There's a specific NPC who's always feeding pigeons in St. Denis. The pigeons have individual AI and will fight over the food she throws. Some pigeons are more aggressive than others, and the pecking order is consistent across visits. There's a specific NPC who's always feeding chickens. The chickens have individual AI and will compete for the food. Some chickens are more aggressive than others, establishing a pecking order. Now let's discuss some more Easter eggs and secrets. There are references to real historical events and figures throughout the game. The game mentions the Wounded Knee Massacre, the expansion of the railroad, the decline of the frontier, and many other historical topics. Some NPCs are based on real people, like the suffragette in St. Denis who advocates for women's right to vote. The game contains a complete recreation of the Blackwater Ledger newspaper from Red Dead Redemption 1, with articles that reference events from the first game. Finding and reading these newspapers provides backstory for players who played the original. There's a specific rock formation in the Grizzlies that, when viewed from a particular angle at sunset, creates a shadow that looks exactly like a human face. This is intentional and references the Old Man of the Mountain, a famous rock formation in New Hampshire that collapsed in 2003. There's a specific tree that has a carving of a map. The map shows the location of a hidden stash, but the carving is so weathered that it's difficult to read. Players have spent hours trying to decipher it. There's a specific grave that belongs to twins who died on the same day. The headstone has 2 names and a single date. Visiting the grave triggers unique dialogue about the tragedy of losing children. There's a specific cabin that contains a collection of taxidermied animals. Each animal is a species that exists in the game, and they're posed in lifelike positions. The cabin owner is never seen, but their hobby is evident. Now let's cover the online mode briefly. Red Dead. Online launched shortly after the single-player campaign. It allows players to create their own characters and explore the world with others. The online mode has received regular updates adding new content and features. While not as acclaimed as the single-player mode, it has developed a dedicated player base. The online mode includes its own stories and missions separate from the single-player campaign. Players can form posses and work together on various activities. The economy and progression systems differ from single-player. The online mode has its own community with its own culture. Players have created roleplay servers, organised events, and developed their own traditions. The social aspect adds a dimension that single-player can't provide. Now let's wrap up with some final thoughts on what makes this game special. Red Dead Redemption 2 is excessive, it's obsessive, it's a monument to the idea that details matter, that a world worth exploring is a world worth building properly, that players will notice and appreciate the work even when they can't articulate what they're noticing. The game represents a landmark achievement in interactive entertainment. Every system we've discussed, from horse bonding to dynamic weather, from NPC schedules to the honor system, works together to create something greater than the sum of its parts. Red Dead Redemption 2 isn't just a collection of features, it's a cohesive vision of what an open-world game can be when every detail is considered, when every system is polished, when every moment is crafted with care. The useless facts we've explored are actually the building blocks of immersion, the tiny details that your brain registers even when you're not consciously aware of them, the countless small touches that make the difference between a good game and a masterpiece. So the next time someone asks you why Red Dead Redemption 2 is special, you can tell them about the horse defecation, the beard growth, the NPC schedules, and the thousands of other details that most games would never bother to include. That's what separates this game from the rest. That's what makes it unforgettable, and that's why, years after its release, people are still discovering new things, still sharing facts, still marvelling at the depth of this incredible achievement. Thanks for spending these 3 hours with me, partner. I hope you learned something useless. I hope it makes the game feel a little more alive the next time you play. And I hope you find something I missed, because I guarantee there's more out there. The Old West is waiting. It's more detailed than you ever imagined. And somewhere in that detail there's a fact that no one has discovered yet. Go find it. Actually, let's keep going. There's still more to cover. Let's talk about the voice acting and motion capture in more detail. The voice acting in Red Dead Redemption 2 is exceptional, with performances that bring the characters to life. Roger Clark, who voices Arthur Morgan, recorded dialogue for over 5 years. The main cast spent countless hours in motion capture suits, performing not just voices but full body movements. The result is characters that feel genuinely human, with subtle expressions and natural movements. The motion capture technology used is state-of-the-art. Actors wore suits covered in sensors that tracked their movements in 3 dimensions. Facial capture technology recorded their expressions in detail. The data was then used to animate the in-game characters. The result is animation that's remarkably lifelike, with characters that move and emote like real people. The actors perform scenes together for natural interactions. This allowed for genuine chemistry and realistic timing in conversations. The extended recording period allowed for natural character development as actors grew into their roles over years. The game's soundtrack was composed by Woody Jackson, who also composed the soundtrack for Red Dead Redemption 1. The music is dynamic, changing based on what's happening in the game. Combat music kicks in during fights. Peaceful music plays during exploration. Emotional music accompanies story moments. The soundtrack includes over 100 original compositions. The sound design extends beyond music to include thousands of unique sound effects. Each gun has a unique sound. Each animal has unique vocalizations. Each environment has unique ambient sounds. The sound of rain on different surfaces varies. The sound of footsteps changes based on terrain. The attention to audio detail is remarkable. The game uses spatial audio to create an immersive soundscape. Sounds come from specific directions and distances. You can hear enemies approaching from behind. You can locate animals by their calls. The audio provides useful gameplay information while enhancing immersion. Players with surround sound systems or good headphones get the full benefit. Now let's explore more details about the world's simulation. The game simulates the passage of time in remarkable detail. Time passes at a rate of 1 in-game hour per 2 real-world minutes. This means a full in-game day takes 48 real-world minutes. The time of day affects lighting, NPC behavior, animal activity, and various other factors. The lighting changes gradually throughout the day, with beautiful sunrises and sunsets. The position of the sun and moon is astronomically accurate for the game's time period and location. The golden hour lighting at dawn and dusk is particularly stunning and has been praised by photographers and artists. Shadows move realistically as the sun crosses the sky. The shadow of a building at noon looks different from its shadow at sunset. This affects gameplay in subtle ways, as shadows can provide concealment or reveal your position. The game simulates cloud movement and formation. Clouds drift across the sky realistically, casting moving shadows on the ground below. Storm clouds build gradually before rain begins. The cloud simulation adds to the sense of a living, breathing world. Fog rolls in and out based on weather conditions and time of day. Morning fog in valleys is particularly atmospheric. The fog affects visibility for both you and enemies, creating tactical opportunities. The game simulates wind in remarkable detail. Wind affects vegetation, causing trees and grass to sway. Strong winds can affect shooting accuracy at extreme distances. The wind direction and speed vary based on weather and location. Dust and debris blow in the wind in appropriate environments. In the desert regions, you can see dust devils forming and moving across the landscape. In autumn areas, leaves blow across the ground. The water simulation is equally impressive. Rivers flow in the correct direction based on elevation. The current affects swimming and boat handling. Waterfalls create mist and spray. Rain creates ripples that spread realistically across water surfaces. Fish can be seen swimming in clear water. Their behavior changes based on time of day and weather. Some fish jump out of the water occasionally. The fish AI is sophisticated enough that experienced anglers can predict fish behavior. Now let's discuss more about the AI systems. The NPC AI is doing far more than most players realize. Every NPC has a complete daily schedule that they follow regardless of whether you're watching. They have needs like hunger and tiredness that affect their behavior. They have relationships with other NPCs that influence their interactions. NPCs react to their environment in realistic ways. They seek shelter during rain. They warm themselves by fires in cold weather. They comment on unusual events. They notice and react to your presence based on your appearance and behavior. The witness system is particularly sophisticated. When you commit a crime, witnesses don't just report a crime happened. They report what they saw, your appearance, your weapon, your horse. If you change your appearance before being identified, the description becomes less accurate. NPCs have memory that persists across the entire game. Help someone once and they remember. Wrong someone and they remember that too. This creates a sense of consequence that extends far beyond the immediate moment. The animal AI is equally impressive. Predators don't just attack randomly, they stalk, they wait for opportunities, they give up if the hunt becomes too costly. Prey animals don't just run, they run towards safety, toward herds, toward water. Animals have territories that they defend. Enter a bear's territory and it may attack. Stay out of its territory and it ignores you. The territorial behavior is consistent and predictable once you understand it. Pack animals coordinate their behavior. Wolves hunt together, flanking prey and taking turns attacking. The pack dynamics are realistic enough that experienced hunters can predict wolf behavior. Birds flock realistically, with individual birds following simple rules that create complex group behavior. Starlings form murmurations, geese fly in V formations. The flocking behavior is based on real ornithological research. Now let's cover more about the physics simulation. The physics engine handles countless interactions that most players never consciously notice. Objects have realistic weight and momentum. A heavy object takes more force to move than a light one. Momentum carries objects forward after the force is removed. Ragdoll physics create unique death animations every time. No two deaths look exactly the same. Bodies react to the force and direction of impacts. The physics create memorable and sometimes darkly humorous moments. Destruction physics allows certain objects to be damaged or destroyed. Windows shatter, wooden structures splinter. The destruction adds to combat's intensity and provides tactical options. Fire physics are particularly impressive. Fires spread based on wind direction, fuel availability and moisture. A fire started upwind spreads faster than one started downwind. The fire propagation is physically accurate. Water physics affect gameplay in multiple ways. Swimming has realistic physics with limited stamina. Boats handle differently based on current and wind. Objects float or sink based on their density. Snow physics create unique gameplay in mountain regions. Snow accumulates and can be walked through. Deep snow slows movement. Tracks are left in snow and persist until new snowfall covers them. Cloth physics make clothing and fabric move realistically. Arthur's coat flaps in the wind. Curtains blow through open windows. Flags wave on flagpoles. The cloth simulation adds to the sense of a physical world. Hair physics affect both Arthur and his horse. Hair moves realistically in wind and during movement. The hair simulation is subtle, but contributes to the overall sense of realism. Now let's discuss more Easter eggs and hidden details. The game contains numerous references to classic Western films. Certain camera angles during cutscenes reference specific shots from famous Westerns. Character designs echo iconic Western actors. The musical cues sometimes reference classic Western scores. There's a specific combination of clothing that makes Arthur look almost identical to Clint Eastwood's character from The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. The combination was intentionally included as an homage to classic Western films. The game contains references to American literature. The cabin in Roanoke Ridge with the scratching sounds may reference Poe. Other locations and events reference Twain, London, and other authors who wrote about the American frontier. The game contains references to real outlaws and lawmen of the Old West. Some NPCs share names or characteristics with historical figures. The gang's activities mirror real outlaw gangs of the era. The game contains hidden messages that can only be found through careful exploration. Some are carved into trees, some are written on walls, some are hidden in the environment in ways that require specific viewing angles to see. The game contains a complete simulation of 1899 stock prices, with fictional companies whose values fluctuate based on in-game events. Investing in these stocks is not a gameplay mechanic, but the simulation runs in the background regardless. Now let's talk about the technical achievements. The game runs on Rockstar's proprietary Rage engine, which has been continuously developed since Grand Theft Auto 4. The engine handles the game's complex systems, including physics, AI, weather, and rendering. The technical achievement of running such a detailed world on console hardware is impressive. The game was released on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One in October 2018, with a PC version following in November 2019. The PC version includes enhanced graphics and additional features. The game runs on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X through backward compatibility. Loading times are minimal once the game is running. The open world streams seamlessly as you explore, with no loading screens between areas. The only significant loading occurs when starting the game or loading a save. This seamless experience contributes to immersion. The game supports HDR on compatible displays, providing enhanced contrast and color range. The HDR implementation is well regarded, with the game's sunsets and lighting effects particularly benefiting from the technology. The game includes extensive audio options for customization. You can adjust music, effects, and dialogue volumes separately. The options allow tailoring the audio experience to preference. The game includes extensive visual options on PC. Resolution, quality settings, and effects can be adjusted. The options allow balancing visual quality and performance. Now let's cover the legacy and impact of the game. The legacy of Red Dead Redemption 2 extends beyond gaming. It's been cited as an example of games as art, demonstrating the medium's potential for storytelling and emotional impact. The game has influenced subsequent open-world games, raising expectations for detail and immersion. The game has inspired numerous fan creations, including artwork, music, and videos. The characters and world have resonated with players, inspiring creative expression. Fan communities remain active years after release, discussing the game, sharing content, and keeping the experience alive. The game has been studied by academics interested in narrative design, world building, and player psychology. Papers have been written about its approach to environmental storytelling, its treatment of historical themes, and its impact on players. The game has influenced how other developers approach open-world design. The level of detail in Red Dead Redemption 2 has become a benchmark that other games are measured against. Some developers have cited it as inspiration for their own projects. The speedrunning community has embraced the game despite its length. Watching someone complete a 60-hour game in under 15 hours reveals mechanics and shortcuts that normal players never discover. The speedrunning community has developed its own culture around the game. The modding community on PC has created new content and modifications, new missions, new characters, new mechanics, all created by players who loved the game enough to add to it. The modding extends the game's life and provides new ways to experience the world. The photography community has created stunning images using the game's photo mode. The visual quality of the game makes it particularly suited for virtual photography. Some photographers have built followings based entirely on their Red Dead Redemption 2 images. The roleplay community has created elaborate stories and characters within the game world. Players create personas and act out scenarios, using the game as a stage for collaborative storytelling. The roleplay community has developed its own traditions and culture. Wait, there's still more. Let me share some additional fascinating details. Let's talk about the gang members in more depth. Each gang member has a unique personality and backstory revealed through conversations and interactions. These aren't just quest givers or background characters, they're fully realized people with hopes, fears, and complicated relationships. Lenny Summers is the young, eager newcomer trying to prove himself. His enthusiasm is infectious, and his friendship with Arthur provides some of the game's most memorable moments. The mission where Arthur and Lenny get drunk together has become legendary among players for its humor and heart. Karen Jones is the tough woman with a drinking problem that worsens as the story progresses. Early in the game, she's confident and capable. By the end, she's struggling. Her arc is told entirely through ambient dialogue and behaviour, never through explicit missions. Sean Maguire is the loud, boastful Irishman whose bravado masks insecurity. His jokes and stories provide comic relief, but there's depth beneath the surface. His fate is one of the game's most shocking moments. Javier Escuela is the skilled guitarist and loyal friend whose devotion to Dutch will eventually lead him down a dark path. Players of the first game know where he ends up, which adds weight to every interaction. Charles Smith is the quiet, capable hunter whose mixed heritage has made him an outsider everywhere. His friendship with Arthur is one of the game's most genuine relationships, built on mutual respect rather than shared history. Sadie Adler transforms from a grieving widow to a fierce warrior over the course of the story. Her arc is one of the most dramatic, and her eventual fate provides closure for players who complete the epilogue. Micah Bell is the snake in the grass, the character players love to hate. His influence on Dutch is subtle at first but becomes increasingly apparent. The game does an excellent job of making players distrust him long before the story confirms their suspicions. Now let's discuss some more mechanical details. The game tracks your relationship with each gang member separately. Doing missions with a specific gang member improves your relationship. Helping them with tasks around camp improves it further. Ignoring them or being rude decreases it. Gang members with high relationship levels give you gifts, share stories, and are more helpful during missions. The camp has a donation box where you can contribute money and items. Your contributions are tracked and displayed. Other gang members also contribute, and you can see who's pulling their weight and who isn't. The total contributions affect camp morale and available supplies. The camp ledger shows detailed records of income and expenses. You can see exactly where money's coming from and where it's going. The ledger provides insight into the gang's financial situation and can guide your decisions about what activities to pursue. Camp activities provide bonuses and story content. You can play games like poker and dominoes with gang members. You can do chores like chopping wood and carrying hay. You can sit and listen to stories around the campfire. These activities build relationships and provide glimpses into characters' pasts. The Scout Campfire lets you hear stories from gang members. Different characters tell different stories at different times. Some stories are humorous, Some are tragic, some provide backstory. The stories change based on where you are in the main story. Now let's cover some more world details. The game includes numerous unique locations that serve no gameplay purpose but add to the world. Scenic vistas, interesting rock formations, unusual natural features are scattered throughout. Finding these locations rewards exploration with visual beauty and sometimes hidden secrets. Abandoned buildings tell stories through environmental details. You can piece together what happened to former occupants by examining their belongings, reading their letters, and observing the state of their homes. The environmental storytelling is subtle but rewarding for attentive players. Crime scenes reveal circumstances of deaths through careful observation. Blood spatter patterns, weapon placement, body positions all provide clues. Some crime scenes are connected to missions or stranger encounters. Others are just stories waiting to be discovered. The game includes numerous caves that can be explored. Each cave has its own character, from narrow passages to vast chambers. Some contain treasures, some contain dangers, some contain mysteries that have never been fully explained. Mines scattered throughout the map can be explored. They're often dangerous with unstable structures and hostile inhabitants. But they also contain valuable resources and sometimes unique discoveries. The underwater world is surprisingly detailed. You can see fish swimming, plants growing, and objects on the bottom. Some treasures can only be found underwater. The underwater environments vary by location, with clear mountain streams differing from murky swamp waters. Now let's discuss the game's approach to player choice. The honor system creates meaningful consequences for your choices, but beyond the binary good-evil distinction, the game offers numerous smaller choices that affect how the story unfolds. Who you help, who you ignore, how you treat people all matter in ways both obvious and subtle. Some missions offer multiple approaches. You can go in guns blazing or try stealth. You can show mercy or be ruthless. The game doesn't always tell you when these choices matter, which makes them feel more organic. The game respects player agency in ways that many games don't. If you want to ignore the main story and spend hours fishing, you can. If you want to be a ruthless outlaw, you can. If you want to try to be honourable despite your circumstances, you can. The game accommodates different play styles without judgment. The multiple endings provide closure that feels earned based on how you've played. The endings aren't just different cutscenes, they're different emotional experiences that reflect your journey through the game. Now let's wrap up with some final observations. Red Dead Redemption 2 represents a particular philosophy of game design. It prioritizes immersion over convenience, detail over efficiency, atmosphere over action. Not every player appreciates this approach, but those who do find an experience unlike anything else in gaming. The game asks for patience. It rewards attention. It trusts players to find their own fun within its systems, rather than constantly directing them toward objectives. This approach isn't for everyone, but for the right player, it creates an unforgettable experience. The game's influence on the industry is still being felt. Other developers have cited it as inspiration. Players have come to expect higher levels of detail in open-world games. The bar has been raised, and Red Dead Redemption 2 is the game that raised it. Years after release, the game continues to surprise players with new discoveries. The community continues to share findings, debate theories, and celebrate the game's achievements. It's become more than just a game, it's a shared experience that connects players around the world. One more batch of facts before we truly finish. Let's talk about some specific interactions that most players miss. If you return to the site of a major story mission days later, you might find NPCs discussing what happened there. Witnesses share rumours, and the stories become more exaggerated with each retelling, like a game of telephone playing out in the game world. If you shoot a hanging lantern, it swings realistically based on where the bullet hit. The swinging creates moving shadows that can actually affect NPC detection, as they might mistake the moving shadow for a person. If you shoot a piano, it makes a discordant sound based on which keys the bullets hit. Skilled players have actually played recognizable tunes by shooting pianos in specific patterns. If you shoot a church bell, it rings with a tone that can be heard across the entire town. NPCs will look toward the sound, and some will comment on the unusual ringing. If you shoot a water tower, water leaks from the bullet holes. The leak rate depends on how many holes you've made and their positions. Eventually the tower can drain completely. If you shoot a hanging sign, it swings and eventually falls if you hit the chains or ropes holding it. The fallen sign remains on the ground for the rest of your playthrough. If you shoot a scarecrow, birds that were avoiding the area will eventually return, realizing the threat is gone. The bird AI actually responds to the presence or absence of scarecrows. If you shoot a beehive and then immediately dive into water, the bees will circle above the water waiting for you to surface. They have remarkable patience and will wait for several minutes before giving up. If you shoot a hornet's nest, the hornets are more aggressive than bees and will chase you farther. The hornet AI is distinct from the bee AI, with different pursuit behaviours and damage values. Now let's cover some details about Arthur's animations. Arthur has idle animations that trigger when standing still. He shifts weight, looks around, adjusts clothing. The animations prevent Arthur from looking static and add to the sense that he's a living character. Arthur has sitting animations that trigger when he sits down. He may pull out his journal. He may look around at the scenery. The animations add life to rest moments. Arthur has eating animations that differ based on what he's eating. Eating meat differs from eating candy. The animations are detailed and realistic. Arthur has drinking animations that differ based on what he's drinking. Drinking whiskey differs from drinking coffee. The animations add variety to consumption. Arthur has smoking animations for cigarettes and cigars. The smoking animations are detailed. Smoking provides minor benefits and atmosphere. Arthur has crafting animations that differ based on what he's making. The animations show the crafting process and add to the tactile feel of crafting. Arthur has mounting animations that differ based on approach angle. Getting on and off horses has detailed animations that add to the physicality of horse interaction. Arthur has combat animations that create fluid, realistic combat. The animations contribute to combat's visceral feel. Arthur has death animations that trigger ragdoll physics. The death animations are unique each time and create memorable moments. Now let's discuss some final technical details. The game's file size exceeds 100 gigabytes, one of the largest games ever released. That space is filled with high-resolution textures, detailed models, and an enormous audio library. The game streams the entire open world seamlessly as you explore. There are no loading screens between areas once you're in the world. The technical achievement of maintaining this on console hardware from 2018 is remarkable. The game supports various control schemes and can be remapped. Alternative control schemes are available. The options accommodate different preferences and accessibility needs. Aim assist options allow tailoring difficulty to preference. Strong aim assist helps less experienced players. Reduced or no aim assist provides challenge for veterans. The game includes a replay system for completed missions. You can replay story missions from the menu. Replaying allows trying different approaches or improving performance. The medal system rates mission performance. Missions award gold, silver or bronze medals based on performance. Achieving gold requires meeting specific objectives. The medal system provides goals for perfectionists, and with that, we've truly exhausted our supply of Red Dead Redemption 2 trivia. From the mundane to the magnificent, from horse defecation to hidden Easter eggs, we've covered the incredible depth of detail that makes this game special. These facts represent the work of over 1,000 developers over 8 years. Every detail, no matter how small, was someone's responsibility. Someone decided that horses should remember trauma. Someone programmed the poker tells. Someone wrote the newspaper articles. Someone recorded the bird calls. The accumulation of all these decisions is what makes Red Dead Redemption 2 feel less like a game and more like a world. Thank you for spending these 3 hours with me. I hope you've gained a new appreciation for the craftsmanship behind this remarkable game, and I hope that the next time you play you'll notice some of these details and smile, knowing that someone cared enough to include them. The Old West is waiting. It's more detailed than you ever imagined, and somewhere out there, there's a fact that no one has discovered yet. Go find it, partner, and when you do, share it with the rest of us. That's what keeps this community alive. Until next time,